Hey friends, how's it going? Welcome back. I know it's been a whole week. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? I know. There you go. Get this started here. That's better. That's a very nice day out. Very nice. It's about 80 degrees almost. It's clear. It's gorgeous. Yeah. So, I would say it's a nice day for a video. Anyways, burning the old Paull's Leader number 2. This is the first generation. I haven't shown it since I got the proper globe for it. That's right. Check that out. Paull's Leader number 2. Or Paull's Leader Cold Blast, rather. It says number 2 on the fount back here. Yeah. But anyways, I thought it's a nice day to burn this big old monster. And talk about it. These things are really fun. You know, I love Paull's lanterns. Now, for a while, I didn't know much about them. And I kind of just brushed them off as more or less common lanterns. However, those are the ones made through the 20s and through the 40s. Those ones are very common. They're easy to find, but just because they're easy to find doesn't mean that they're bad. They're still good lanterns, and they're very enjoyable, and they make a nice light, and they're easy to work on and play with and burn. I mean, the swing out globe lift really was their ace. That was a wonderful design, and they kept using that same design that they patented in 1890, clear into the 1930s and 40s on their hot blast lanterns. Now, their cold blast lanterns, they couldn't do that. That was not a feasible design to utilize on a cold blast lantern because of all this stuff up here. But on their hot blast, they continued to use the crank out style method that they used with the Nail City company. Nail City Lantern and Stamping became Wheeling Stamping Company right around 1900 to 1903, I believe. So when you buy a Paull's lantern that has patent date stamped on top of the smoke bell, those are not patent dates indicating the lantern's age. Okay, those are patent dates signifying when the lift design was introduced, and also when Paull's Leader or the Paull's name was established through Wheeling Stamping Company, because A.W. Paull was the president of Nail City Lantern and Stamping Company, and then when the company became Wheeling, it honored Paull's name, so it became Paull's Leader. Makes sense. So when you buy a Paull's lantern, you're getting Nail City heritage. That's right. You're getting a lantern that's made by the same company that made the crank tubulars that we all adore and cherish and enjoy and strive to find because they're expensive and rare. The fancy crinkle corner, hot blasts. Well, yeah. I don't like this box. Anyway, that's a little bit of the history for you. Are Paull's lanterns easy to find? Most are. 1910s through the 1940s, quite easy to find. Very easy to find. But there's examples that are not easy to find, and that would be these. This is the first generation dating to early 1900, 1903, give or take. And it's funny, if you really look at these early Paull's cold blasts, they look like another lantern. In fact, if you match them side by side, they almost, pound for pound, pack for pack. Leave me a message in the comment if you catch that reference. Anyways, it's an old cigarette commercial reference. Anyways, they're almost identical to the early blizzards. The Dietz blizzards are, these and the blizzards are almost exactly alike. It's true. Why would they be that way? Why would they copy Dietz? A lot of people copy Dietz. If you haven't been paying attention, a lot of companies would copy, emulate Dietz because they had great designs. And they sold very well. So, of course, they're going to be imitated. Come on. It's not rocket science. Anyway, Paull's came out with their Cold Blast right around when they became Wheeling Stamping Company. And this thing, it's pretty much a Dietz Blizzard. However, it has a single wire guard, which is similar to a Dietz Victor of this generation. Doesn't it look like this? It looks like this. However, this is a hot blast in square tube, 1890s. Came way before this thing. Yeah. But it has that kind of aesthetic with the single wire guard going through the air tubes. And I think that's handsome. I like that look. It's very simplistic. It's elegant. But the frame is essentially a Dietz Blizzard, early generation. Still has an outside lift. See? Yeah, same like the early Dietz. However, I don't think they really got in trouble for copying their Blizzard because of this. It looked different because of the different wire guard. Now, if you had a cross wire guard, then they probably like, Anyway, they say that imitation is the highest form of flattery. It is. But also, it invited them into courthouses to go against Dietz's legal team that protected their patents. Anyway. Ooh, sorry. So this is a special piece, but I did get the marked globe. Now, the marked globe came from another source. And, sometimes I cruise through eBay and I'm looking at a lot of stuff. I think a lot of us are guilty of this. A lot of us are looking for stuff. Different stuff, rare stuff, stuff that we could use, enjoy, collect, restore, clean up, whatever your game is. But anyhow, I look for globes. I do. I look for globes because glass is getting harder to find. Now, does a lantern burn better with a marked globe in it? No, not really. It just looks cooler because it has an original piece of glass that would have come in the lantern when it's brand new. So, essentially, for the collector mindset, it's complete. It's a complete piece, a complete antique. Yeah. And that's what a lot of collectors kind of go for. Can you enjoy a lantern without an original globe? A lot of people do. In fact, I'd say it's best to enjoy it with a unmarked globe because if it cracks, you're not going to cry about losing a globe that's potentially worth a lot of money. Now, I don't burn this lantern very often at all. I think I've burned it a handful of times since last week. I think I started putting it into the rotation. It just hangs out here in the garage and I don't burn it nearly enough, as much as maybe I should burn it. But I love it. When I go through lanterns looking for something to sell, this is one that's always off the table because I do really like this thing. And it's just different enough to make you look, interesting. It catches the attention. But the globe is a very nice strike, very nice cast, strong, bold letters. I have another Paull's Leader globe that's a weaker casting. And it has some amethyst tint, but it also has cancer, so it's a little murky. It's not crazy cancer, it's very subtle, but it's a murky looking globe. I like it, but I'm letting it go in a frame. My other Paull's Leader Cold Blast frame I recently sold, so that will be missed, but I know it's going to a good guy and it will be enjoyed. But things come and go. That's how it is with this collection. It's always going to happen that way. But anyways, this thing is definitely staying. This thing is definitely off the table for as long as I want to say it is. But it's a great piece. But glass. Why is glass so expensive? Why do globes seem to reach really high prices? Well, let me kind of break it down for you. In a lot of cases, we just look at glass like, it's just glass. Well, when we're talking about glass of this variety, we're talking about glass with manganese in it. Manganese, yeah. And it was made probably with a little bit of mercury. Manganese. It's early glass, and it was made before all of us were really born. It's antique in itself. It's hard to find. There's only so much of it made, and only so much of it exists. And so sometimes when we find a really nice globe that belongs in a different frame, it will be in another lantern, because at one time the original broke and they had some globe in another lantern they weren't using, or it rusted out, and they just take the glass out and put in one that they're using. Globes are interchangeable. Just because you find a globe that's marked a certain brand name doesn't mean that it actually always belongs in that frame. How many times have we seen lanterns on eBay claiming as Dietz because it has a fits-all globe in it, but the lantern frame is a Ham or a Paull's or an Embry or whatever? There's like Dietz lantern. I'm like, okay, don't read the globe. The globe is interchangeable. It doesn't mean beans, unless you know what you're looking at and it is the original globe. Then you know that it matches. Fine, but these Paull's lanterns, they're early. Paull's lanterns are really hard to find, and I only know probably less than a handful of guys that actually own this model. I think Russell Smith has a couple of them actually, and another couple of members, come to find out, actually have this example as well. It's really not easy to find, but it's not outrageously different or special, but it is neat because the early Paull's lanterns are handsome and they do burn very well. As you can tell, this thing burns perfectly. And I've used it many times, and mostly with unmarked glass. However, a globe like this right now, some people are asking big prices for. Yeah, they are. They're asking upwards to $100, maybe more. Now, for a long time, even when I started getting into kerosene lanterns in 2016, 17, 18, right around there, some of the glass was already going for some money. And I was looking for a number 0 tubular Dietz globe for a Victor that I bought, and happened to find a pair of them for a very fair price. I think I paid $50 for these two beautiful marked number 0 tubular Dietz globes. However, there was other people that were selling single ones that were asking $80 to $90 for the same globe. But I got two of them for a good price because the seller was just kind of moving some stuff out of her husband's collection, and he was wanting to downsize, and they were collectors, and they love the community, and they're not looking to retire on one piece or one cell. But glass is definitely getting rarer, and I'm always looking at lanterns, not just at the frame, but also what the glass is in the frame, because sometimes if you can get a lantern for $20 to $50 and has a globe like that in it, you're ahead of the game. That's a double win, because sometimes the glass is worth more than the lantern itself. I think this came in a CT Ham Cold Blast. It was a great lantern. I love those, but ordinarily those are a $40 to $60 lantern, depending on the condition and whatnot, and how complete it is. It can probably go for more if they have the original glass. The original glass will always boost the price of a nice lantern. But I got that lantern for probably $50 shipped on eBay, plus tax, which is annoying because tax is expensive these days, especially online. Anyways, I got it, and I put the globe in this thing because this is the Paull's Leader Cold Blast to really have in my collection. It's the favorite. It really is. And then, I stripped the ham and got it ready to go, and I sold it. And so that's now being enjoyed by somebody else. Exactly. Strike 3. You're out. Anyways, So I'm always looking at lanterns, not just at the frame or what it is, but what's in it. I know, I'm one of those guys, but I found some nice globes. My star, my Dietz star that I bought last year, that had a Buell number O tubular globe in it. Yeah, it did. And that globe is now waiting for another lantern. Yeah, it's waiting for a proper frame. I might put it in my number 275 square tube because it originally would have come with a number O style globe. Early Cold Blast kind of did that sometimes. I know CT Hams did. Prior to 1900. The Cold Blast globe, like this style, didn't come out until 1900. It's true. It's true. Because it was a new design for a lot of companies. Now, CT Ham, they introduced the Cold Blast quite a bit earlier than most companies. And most companies came to the Cold Blast game late. CT Ham started rolling out Cold Blast designs as early as the 90s. Early 1891, 1892-ish, give or take. Yeah, it was quite early when they started playing with Cold Blast design. And they had kind of the corner on the market when it came to that stuff because they were pioneers in it. And it wasn't until a lot of companies that started playing with it was 1900. Dietz was one of the last ones to come to the game. They rolled out their Cold Blast as early as 1900. So, Dietz Blizzard, Dietz number 1 Blizzard, the Dietz Junior, that's the 3 Cold Blasts that first were introduced. Well, Cold Blast lanterns like this. They did have the beacon, and the searchlight style lamps, and the Pioneer, well, the street lights were Cold Blast as well. So they did have Cold Blast technically before 1900, but their tubular, number 2 and number 1 tubular, hand lanterns were definitely 1900. But this thing is a fun piece, and I love it. But globes, let me get back to globes. Right now, some people are paying $200 for a Steam Gauge and Lantern Company globe. They're going up. Paull's leader globes like this, the Cold Blast ones, they're going up too. They're hitting 100 plus now. Anywhere between 60 to 100 bucks, depending on condition and if the text is very bold and the embossing is strong, and that's what usually people go for. So if it's got a really nice strong embossing, then that's going to fetch some attention, and the collectors will definitely strive to get it. Dietz tubular globes, number O tubular globes, they're out there. They're a little more plentiful, so they kind of tend to fluctuate between like 30 to 50 bucks. If it's a Dietz 98 globe, a fancy one, arched Dietz 98, whatever. I have a couple of them. Those are $60 to $80, maybe $100 depending. There's certain globes that will fetch a lot of money. And I'm just talking about the clear examples. Clear globes definitely, they can fetch a lot of money. Winfield Cold Blast globes, those go for a bit. Those are not common. Those are hard to find. Now even CT Ham Cold Blast globes are hitting stupid money. I'm like, wait a minute. CT Ham globes are not exactly that rare. I've seen them. I've gotten them for a fair price. Now people are starting to fight over them. And why this is, why all of a sudden is the prices are starting to go up. Now it's not what people's asking, it's what they're fetching online. The hobby is growing. The hobby is growing, and it's reaching a younger audience. And there's members out there that are younger than a lot of us, which is fine. I have nothing against that. I'm supportive of the hobby growing and expanding, because that's how it's going to continue, But you have people that have some money, and they have the drive to find this stuff. That's right, they do. Whether you like it or not, we are influential. Yeah. We are influential. What we share on the tubular group impresses a lot of the new collectors. They see it and their eyes get big and they're like, wow, I like that. Ooh, that's great. Oh, that's a collector piece. That's being posted by somebody who's collected for 20 to 40 years. Or less, give or take. And they're like, wow, okay, they get an idea. They're influenced by what we share. And so they start looking for these things. And when they crop up on eBay, they can go for a lot of money. And, of course, glass is now as popular as the frame itself. There's people that also just collect the globes. They have a separate collection of just the glass besides just the frames. And their glass is on display. It's not even in the lantern. Everyone has their own ideas and ways to collect and appreciate this stuff. I'm not going to say anyone's wrong, but it's interesting to see what people do and how they appreciate their collections. It is. I find it fascinating. It's an interesting study, and what draws people to this stuff. For me, I love the light, the warm, soft light. I couldn't have a collection and not burn it. That's just me, because I love the light. It was the light that drew me in like a moth to this stuff. And I love it. I can burn something that's 123 years old, 125 almost, and enjoy it as it was enjoyed back in its infancy, when it was a relevant tool. Now, am I done sharing? Ha ha ha, you kid. Now, if you noticed, this particular Paull's leader is missing a part right here. You see that? Right there. It should be a lift lock. Now, this is where the community comes in and helps each other. That's right. And I've been very fortunate to make certain friends in the community early on. And I saw a post a while ago by collector Ted Melanie. And he was like, hey, is this part for a hot blast or cold blast? And I looked at the part and I'm like, oh, that's a cold blast. Yeah. And I asked him to look it up and see if he would be willing to sell it. And he sent it to me. Come on. Focus! There it is. No, just kidding. There it is. So see this? Damn. This is the lift lock for this. Yeah. So just like this. You see how this fits? Well, you get the idea. It fits right there. So with a little patience and a little solder, I'll be able to have this complete. 100%. 100% complete. Yeah. So you see the ghost where the lift lock used to be. And I'll be able to put it in there with a little time and a little WD-40 and cleaning it and getting all happy. So, get a little flux. Maybe I could get my torch going and see if I can sweat it on there myself. I'm trying to get a little braver when it comes to soldering, and that's something I really need to focus on. But yeah, I'll have the correct lift lock now. So thank you, Ted. I paid shipping, but he's a sport. He's a good guy, and yeah, it's true. It's awesome. So now it's going to be complete. But yeah, until then, it will stay off until I can get this properly put on. It'll sit right there on the deck waiting for its turn to be applied to the frame. So that's awesome. That's a very rare part And they used that same lift lock design for at least a handful of years. I know it's on the other Paull's leader that I recently sold. And that one's in pretty decent shape. But anyways, I'll clean this up a little bit so the patina will match, and I'll be able to try to get it on there to look like it's never been off. Right. So, but anyways, why did we jump through hoops? Why did we jump through hoops to get this stuff restored or complete? It's not a relevant tool. It's just something old, and a lot of people have thrown these away since early on until even now. There's people that don't understand what they're worth, and they just look at them as old things. They don't have a value to them. Some people, they look at old things like, oh, I'll do this world a favor and get them out of here. Throw it away. It happens. It still happens to this day. There's people that collect, and they pass on, and their family has no idea or appreciation for this stuff. And so they throw it away, or they donate it, or it gets dropped off at an auction house and they get some money. But sometimes they just call 1-800-GOT-JUNK. They come and clear it out. It's sad. You see history being erased because of ignorance and a lack of care. It's true. It still happens to this day. Absolutely. Nothing is forever, and nothing is sacred. It's absolutely true, and it's sad. But that's one of the goals that I have with this channel, is to try and educate people about this stuff and history in general. So I hope I'm achieving my goal. Anyways, real quick before I sign off today, some of you that are my friends on Facebook, you probably saw me make a post last week. And some of you have reached out and asked, you know, that you mentioned that you're going to miss my content. Well, this content's not stopping. No, my community here that I've created with you guys are top notch. I would not abandon you. No, I wouldn't. We're going to still have fun out here doing this stuff. Now, some of the things I've encountered on Facebook are less than savory, and I'm really sad that some people I've known for many years feel it important to troll me when I make a post of something we all enjoy. Just because I have a very strong stance towards AI, they want to troll me. So, to them, see you around the stables. Yeah. But I'm not going to be posting much on my Facebook. I will still share in the Tubular Lantern group, which I moderate. I will still share lantern pictures and things of that nature, but on my personal page, I'm not going to really share too much. So don't be too disappointed. We're still here. We're still doing our stuff. We're still burning. We're still enjoying the good stuff. Anyways, just wanted to make sure you guys got the message and understood. Okay, we're coming up close to 30 minutes. It's been good. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. I always appreciate you guys stopping by and enjoying some time together out here in the old time cave. So, with that being said, have a great rest of your week. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll be coming back at you next time, a week from now, and we'll have something new to share. That's right. There's something coming. It hasn't landed yet, but there will be something new to share. So stay tuned. Is the Red Baron coming in at me? Is this like northeast by northwest? Cary Grant running in the cornfield with a plane, you know? I feel like Cary Grant right now. Anyways, I wish I looked like him. Take it easy, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Sit, boo-boo, sit. Good dog.